in the Juice Plus community. And in the last 6 weeks, over 3 conferences, they've had 16,000 delegates attend a Juice Plus conference. So it truly is the place to be. And the theme of the US conference this year was better than ever. So now is the time definitely to be involved in our company and with our product and with the network marketing industry. So we are absolutely in the right place at the right time. So before I gab on too much, I'm actually going to, we're going to do this in somewhat of a chronological order, and I'm actually going to open it up to both Abby and Carla. I'll unmute you guys. I'm going to hand over to you because the Bournemouth conference in the UK was before the US, and we'd certainly love to hear a brief wrap up of exactly what went on at that conference. I'm handing it over.
Awesome, thanks, Tam. Carla, do you want me to go first, or did you want to go first? We haven't kind of organised it yet.
Last time we did this, brief was not the word we managed to stick to, and Abby was like, what do I say? So Abby, I'll let you go first this time.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so yeah, oh wow, what a conference, eh? Totally epic and amazing. You know, obviously it was my first UK conference, and part of the reason why I went over there was one of my teamies is in Italy, and she was really excited to see the vision as well over what's happening in the UK and Europe actually as a whole. So I've got notes everywhere, so I'm going to try and just pick some stuff out of what pops up. But yeah, one of the biggest things that I think that I came away just feeling, I think conference is an amazing thing because it's really actually a feeling more than anything. So sometimes it's actually really hard to describe it and actually tell you guys because it's such an experience. So I'm going to do the best I can to give you that feeling because it was for me, a couple of words that really came out was visionary. It was such a visionary conference for me because some of the things that I got to see over there was pretty amazing. This was a social media conference. So you can just imagine that everything that came up was like a hashtag of something. So we would be like hashtag be your best and hashtag legends and hashtag attract your customers. So it was really done in an awesome way of this around social media. And what happened was people were doing Twitters at the same time. And, you know, it was really encouraged to put this out on social media. So that in itself was amazing to see. But one of the things that I really found with this conference is how the Europeans and UK are utilising social media. And I feel over maybe in Australia, we're just kind of scratching the surface of really how they are utilising social media in such an amazing way. So one of the things that I really start to understand is this is just an amazing tool. You know, we're very big here in WA, especially around community, and what we've built here is amazing. And I think that's something that will always stay very strong and solid in our community. But social media can be an amazing tool for you guys to actually have a massive platform. So a couple of things that really, some of the things that really stood out for me, was about transformation. You know, the Italians that got up on there, these Italian guys are incredible. Their growth in the last 12 months has been something like 874%. And as Nikki, one of my guys in my team is in Italy, says, you know, right now in Italy, it's in a recession. It's in a really, really bad economic way, but yet they are the #1 growing team around the world. So it just goes to show that it doesn't matter where you are and what situation is happening in the country. You know, what we're in, we don't sell product and we don't sell the business. We actually sell transformation. And that's something that I've really brought home with me is my verbiage around talking to people in, we sell transformation. That is such an amazing gift that we can give people. We sell transformation in health and in wealth. So it was about, one of the things that I loved was change your question, change your life. You know, and asking the right questions. We do talk about that a lot in terms of what we teach and what we train on is asking the right questions. But one of the loveliest questions that I took out from this and what I'm using it a lot is, what is your dream? It's such a simple question, but what is your dream? Especially when we talk about changing that question and changing your life. I love the thought of this is everybody's company. You know, our job actually is to just add value to people's life, to our team, to ourselves, and to our customers and our community. So when they say it's everybody's company, this is for everybody, you know, and when we bring people into this business, it's actually telling them this is an everybody company. You know, one of the things that I loved was if people are getting stuck right now, it actually means you're not talking to enough people. You know, that's really what often that we find is when people get stuck in a rut and, you know, kind of going through those challenging times, it's actually because we're not speaking to enough people. Because if we were, we'll always have things on the go. We'll always have enough to keep us going when we're speaking to a lot of people. Another fantastic quote that I got out of was, yeses build your business, but no's build you. So yeses build your business, but no's build you. We talked about collecting the no's, which, you know, again, something that we do teach, but I love the fact that, you know, when you have a no, it's actually just building you as a person. It's actually going to go, right, so what do I need to learn from this situation? Whether it's that I might have not said the right questions, whether I didn't dig deep enough. And that was another thing that really came out is, are we actually finding people's pain? You know, a lot of what we do is actually digging. We need to dig deep enough to find what is it that they need. Where is their pain? Is it in their health? Is it in their financial situation? You know, asking those right enough questions and, you know, collecting those no's is really, really important. Okay, so a couple of things that I absolutely love, some analogies. I'll just give you two. One was from John Holowati, one of my favourite all-time guys. I just love how genuine he is. And I love this little analogy because sometimes I think we get so caught up on knowing so much about the product. And often that can be a stumbling block for a lot of people when they first get started is, oh, do I have to know the ins and outs of everything? And you know, actually put a barrier up to have to know everything to get started. And one of the things that John said was, you know, do we ask when we have a bottle of wine, how many grapes are in the bottle of wine? No, not normally, because we know that it tastes good. We know that we feel good when we drink it, and we know that, you know, it's wine. And this is what I thought was really good, is because sometimes we get so caught up in, do we know all the fruits and veggies and berries and all the things that we need to know in the product? No, we don't need to, because we know that it feels good. We know that the research backs it up, and we've got those things that, you know, that are there for us. So no, you don't know the ins and outs. You just need to share it. So I loved that, what he shared. It stuck with me. And another thing that Lauren Slocum actually said, and she actually said it at our conference, but it reminded me again, and that was of the bamboo tree. And, you know, sometimes what happens with a bamboo tree is that we water it, and every year it actually grows just by an inch. So you water it the first year, it grows by an inch. You water it the second year, it grows by another inch, and third year and fourth year, until around the fifth year, when you actually you water it again, it then shoots up to like 6-7 feet tall, like massive. And that analogy I've always loved, because it actually is like our business. You know, our business, you know, we can put lots in, we water it, we go around, and it can just grow an inch sometimes. And then we keep going more and it grows another inch. And then all of a sudden it will just go bang and explode. And that really is what our business is all about, is actually working on those inches to then that making that happen. Okay, so I think I'm around to the end part of my notes here. The other, just last thing that I would probably just share with you, we met some amazing people over there. And I was lucky and so blessed and privileged enough to actually speak on stage on a panel there called Attract Your Customers. And just so that everyone knows, I got to represent what we do in our community, which was so amazing to be able to do that in front of the UK and the Europeans. And I must say, I got so much, you know, response from that, because it showed another side of the business and how we do things. And I just want to tell each and every one of you, we're doing an amazing job. You know, what we are doing in terms of building our community and actually attracting customers is phenomenal. And one of the amazing girls that I connected with was Sinead Kavanagh, who is just recently got into the Millionaire Club, the last person that's just achieved that. And what she's been able to achieve in such a short period of time has been phenomenal. She's around about 600 club, I think she is. And what I love, some of the things that I really learned from her was that it really is about customers. She built an amazing customer base. She went through some struggles to start with, and she actually always says she had a bit of an ego to start in this business. And then she actually realized that, she needed to take herself out of this and actually serve others. And she said, you decide something and you commit to it. And what she did was she just went to work on her customers, and she did that for about 2 to 3 months solid, just working and getting that big customer base. And in a month, she actually turned 16 of those people, those customers, into franchisees in a month, because she totally loved on them. She totally gave them what they need, and then they just ran with it. And, that's just a testament of the amount of people that she actually brought into the business was phenomenal. But she spoke to a lot of people. Around 100 people a week was the amount of people. So if you want epic, transformation in your business in terms of growing it, it's about the amount of people that you speak to. So 100 people a week, you can just imagine what she's turning that into, which is absolutely amazing. And I'll leave you with one last thing that she said, which I absolutely love. And that was on, sometimes we get a bit bogged down on people that are saying, oh, it's too expensive, or, finding the cost a bit of an issue. And, one of the things she said, cost is never an issue, never, ever an issue. And the reason why it's never an issue, because it all comes down to value and results. What we find is that what we need to do is find out that every single person wants a result. They want an experience. And that's our job to give it to them. Okay, so sometimes people come into this with high expectations, too high sometimes, because we haven't asked the right enough questions to know what do they expect from this. What are their results? What results are they looking for? And she talks about this analogy of apples. Okay, and so when you come into a supermarket and you see two sides of apples. One sort of side is $1 apples. The other side is $5 apples. So first of all, you're going to go to the $1 apples because it's a bargain. But then you look at them and they're moldy and they're disgusting and they're just gross. And then you look at these $5 apples and they're crunchy and juicy and beautiful. So which one are you actually going to choose? You're going to choose the one that's got the value in it, the crunchy, beautiful apples. So what we've got to show is actually when we talk about this amazing product, it's not about the cost, it's about the value we put on it. So that's what I thought was amazing, because sometimes we just need that little mindset shift to go, this is an amazing thing that we've got. So I'm going to leave it as that. I hope I haven't run over time. But Carla, I think I'm going to hand this over to you now, babe.
Thanks, Abby. And honestly, you absolutely killed it on stage. It was so amazing for us Aussies to see you up there, and everyone was just loving on her afterwards. And exactly what Abby said, I think she really just showed a representation of how we initially, and still to this day, very much built our business, and that is based on customer, community, wellness, adding value to people's lives in that sense. And that was something that I found was really obvious coming back from the UK. They're doing an amazing job on what they're doing, but in terms of the actual interest and education on the health side of things, like WA, Australia, and our teams are killing it without a doubt. Like, we want to so much be able to give more of an experience. And I think that's the other key word too. We're not just doing Juice Plus, we are giving people an experience. And that's what it takes to have raving customers and people that just want to grab arms with you and go, how can I be a part of it? It's more than just the product. So just, I think we've really got a really good solid foundation in that. And it's just exactly as Abby had said, it's just how can we add value to them every single day? And I think instead of being very much like, do you want to join my team, or this is what I'm doing, do you want to do this? It's like grabbing people at one go and like finding 5 or 6 friends and go, let's just go for this together. and making it like, you know, just a fun adventure that you're doing, and you're going for the same things at the same time. And I think that's what's really empowering, what makes it so much fun, when you grab a group of friends, you're just lifting each other up and you're going through all that together. And we know that, right? Whenever we link arms with a new teamie and do things like that's where all the fun is. And if you have a shit day, you have a shit day together and you laugh about it later. So I think they're really, really good at creating, you know, grouping together and empowering each other up. Just going back on things, I don't want to repeat on what Abby said. In regards to the social media, I think the one thing is they really nail knowing who they are and who they're attracting. They're very good at branding themselves. That's what I noticed. And obviously, conference was all about that because it was trying to show us, you know, how social media can work to your favour when you've really got it down pat. So knowing who your audience is, knowing what your look is like, knowing who you're trying to attract, and being there every single day and showing up on social media every single day, not just when you feel like it. You know, and that's for a lot of them, they do a few times a day because it's about not having anyone miss you, right? Because some people check it in the morning, some people in the afternoon, some in the evening, etc. So they're just really good at knowing what they're about, and then people know them as that person, yeah? So I absolutely loved... it was Christine Lever who did the social media side of that, and she really got into it, knowing what your colours are, what's your fonts, what's your feel, all that side of things, and then just sticking with it. The other thing that I loved was the quote, I can't remember who said it, but it was a part of the My Story panel, and it was, "Don't nibble at this business, take a bite out of it." And I really, really love that line. And it's really about, do you want to treat this like a hobby, or do you want to treat this like a business, you know, and do you really want it to change your life in a major way? So I've really been digging that quote. And I think it's just so true. Like, we've just got to F the fear and just take a big chunk out of it and really, really just give it a go. And I think that's one thing that I found is really missing there. The fear, like, everyone just goes, this is amazing. There's no hiding. There's no, I'm in network marketing, whatever. They are just so loud and proud, and they don't care who likes them and who doesn't. They just put themselves out there and go for it, and there's no worry. And I think that's why you see the speed with what's been happening over there, because they're just loud and proud. And you might sit there sometimes and go, oh, well, that's a bit what you're posting and all that, etc. But who cares? Because you know what? They attract the people that they want. And I think that's the biggest difference, not being afraid of knowing that there's probably going to be people who don't like what they're doing, etc. They don't care. They're on a mission and they're going to stick with it. The other quote I really loved and really took away was, life is so short, you have this opportunity at your fingertips, so work on your dash. And I love that. There's basically your starting year when you're born, and there's the year where you're going to say goodbye, and there's this dash in the middle, and it's what do you want that dash to represent? And I really, really loved that. So that's something that I've put up on my board myself, because it's true. At the end of the day, what legacy do you want to leave behind? What do you want people to know you for? Even if that's just your friends and family, what difference did you want to make with that dash? Excuse me. I've only just got my voice back properly today. The other one that I really, really loved was the Legends panel. I adored this one. We had about 5 guys up there who had been with the business from anywhere to 20 to close to 30 years. And I think the best thing about this was, nowadays, because we can see so much of what everybody is doing, sometimes we can get so caught up in what everybody's doing rather than just concentrating on what we need to do, and get caught in that comparison game, or why isn't this happening to me, or why isn't my business moving like this, and yada, yada, yada. But having these guys up there and just listening to what we already know, the stay in line. You know, Paolo, Abby was just talking about the Italians and how they're going, and the Italian twins, for example, who were up there and amazing. Paolo Mucci is now, I think he said he's gone from having €9,000 a month to 90,000. Now, what I really love about this is it took him 21 years to reach 100 Club. 21 years, and now he's probably like the highest earning, franchisee in Europe, etc. Like, that's what I mean about sometimes we just lose sight of, like, do you imagine how much passion and vision you had to have and believe to stick it out? And only now in the past 2 years, he's really starting to see the results. So I think sometimes we just lose sight that if we just keep going and we don't give up, you will get there. There is no wrong way about it. It's just picking yourself up and dusting yourself off again and go, right, what can I do better? How can I be better? How can I grow? Grow me, grow my business. So hearing things like that was just really amazing to once again remember how young some of us are in this business sometimes. So I really loved to listen to that. And I think the other thing too, which I loved with the legends, is they said, you know, the systems change, but the fundamentals don't. And in order to keep up with this business, you have to keep up with the change in systems. And that's what I love about these guys. It doesn't matter if they're 50s, 60s, 70s. They're going, so what? Things were done one way once. Time's changing. Technology's changing. Social media. If we want to keep up with the game, we're going to keep up with it. You know, and they were just open-minded and they want to learn from the young people that are leading the way as well. And I thought that was really awesome. You know, they've been in it for so long, but they're not too good to just get down there and still be learning and still being at these conferences. You know, that's what I thought was really, really cool. What else? You can't teach what you don't know, and you don't know what you don't do. That was, again, off the Legends panel. And I think it was a really big reminder that at the end of the day, action leads the way. And only by doing it yourself are you ever going to know how to lead from the front. And, you know, hearing it from those guys, obviously been doing it for years, was just, yeah, once again, you've got to speak with your feet and not your mouth. God, I mean, yeah, Abby touched on the John Holowati. The one thing, again, I'll probably just leave on is to always just stay in touch with your pain. I think they're really good about keeping people hungry, and they talk about that a lot. Lauren Slocum even said, you know, don't eat the crisps and get full. You got to stay hungry, she says. And they're hungry. You know, you have to keep up on why you're doing this business, because as we all know, it changes all the time. So being able to have those types of speakers up there, and once again, just really hear, as Abby said, about they're leading the way with social media. It's a non-negotiable. That is part of your business. If you're not doing it, you're not running your business at 100%. They're transforming lives. They're adding value. That's the biggest thing too. Just adding value to people's lives on an everyday basis and building relationships, and be your best. I think that's it. If you can be at your best, you'll inspire other people to be at your best. So I'm just going to leave it there, I think, because otherwise I'm sure you've got a lot to cover.
Oh, thanks, girls. There were some absolute corker quotes there. Fantastic. I'm going to have to go back and look at the recording. I was too intrigued to write things down. So, yeah, on to me. So, obviously, I went to the US conference, which was held in St. Louis this year, so northeast. As I said, over 3 conferences in the last 6 weeks that the Juice Plus company has had worldwide, they've had 16,000 delegates. So we know that right now is the time to be associated with the Juice Plus company. We're all in this at the absolute right time. In fact, this American conference was the largest conference that they have ever had in North America. There were 8,000 people there, and it was truly breathtaking to walk into this enormous hall and just see row upon row upon row upon row of filled seats. From the outset, conference was absolutely pumping. And some of the information that was shared by the leaders with the company, so people like Apollo Tizira, Jane Martin, obviously, John Blair, Sean Hopkins, all those big names that we all know very well, was truly inspiring. One of the most powerful things that I heard at the NMD meeting was that there were 14 out of the 23 countries in which Juice Plus is currently marketed had their number 1 month ever in the last 10 months. And in fact, August was a world record for global business. So if anyone has ever listened to Gordon Hester and understands the S-curve, we are well and truly into the upswing of the S-curve right now. And to anybody who is even vaguely business-minded about this, then now is the time to be introducing them to the business of Juice Plus. And that's very evident by the incredible records that have been smashed all around the world. There were 25 new national marketing directors who were inducted into the Hall of Fame. And obviously that's not the complete extent. That was just in North America, plus one Canadian and one Australian, which was Sharon Anyos this year. Sean Hopkins talked to us about the product and some of the product changes that we're going to be seeing over the next 12 months. So the first thing that they presented on the launch evening, so the Thursday night, was the seed to service matrix. And I've just been in contact with Sean to find out when that recording will be available, and it should be available in the next month for you guys to go and have a look at. It was an hour-long presentation that included Sean. It included Manfred Lamprecht, who is the head of research and development, Meredith Martin, who is the head of marketing, and also Lisa Peppel, who is responsible for overseeing all the farms. And what they walked through was the step-by-step processing of Juice Plus from seed to the service of the customer. And they talked through all of the quality assurance and high-level service that happens at every step. And, you know, as someone who likes to know and who likes to solidify belief in the product and the industry and the company, it was hands down a magnificent performance by all four of them. So we will have that video available for everybody to have a look at. And certainly if there is anyone who has any question on belief of the product or the processing or how it gets to the customer and how they do quality assurance, then this will be the video to see. It was fantastic. In addition to that, on the very first evening, we had the pleasure of seeing a gentleman by the name of Stephen Ritz, who has actually just come back from a meeting with the Pope. He is considered a world-class educator, having just won a global prize, being the best educator in the world. He's a school teacher and was singularly responsible for greening up the Bronx in New York. And in his journeys in greening up the Bronx, he actually came across the Tower Garden, and he is now the biggest advocate of the Tower Garden. And so obviously that's what the push was. But what is amazing is this is a man who is passionate about our products and has absolutely no remuneration from the company whatsoever. He doesn't have a franchise. He doesn't get paid, but he goes around North America and now globally talking about how amazing Juice Plus is, and also the Tower Garden as part of that. So it was a fantastic and very inspiring presentation. In addition to that, Sean Hopkins talked about the Omega blend. We've all heard that the Omega blend is coming. It is delayed. There has been some issues with regards to testing its bioavailability and its stability as a product. So they're now looking to launch that in 2017. Yes, it contains a combination of 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9 omegas, and they're all plant-based cold press oils. I think we all knew that, but just to say it is coming, but it will be delayed because there are just some production issues at the moment. Their plan in 2017 is also to launch a research study around the omegas as well. So that's really, really exciting. As far as Complete goes, globally, 25% of all Juice Plus customers are now utilising Complete, and mostly as part of programs. So we know Transform 30, we know 10-Day Shred, we know T120, we know JBT, we know lots of different programs. And as a result of that, in North America, what they have decided to do is launch something called the Healthy Living Revolution. So what they've done is they've brought the likes of Mitra Ray and all of the others who've developed these programs around Complete and capsules together, and they've now created a standardized program that's going to be marketed through the Juice Plus company itself, as opposed to having the confusing message of all these different sorts of programs. I did actually speak with Celine about whether or not we would be adopting this, and the answer at the moment is no. We are getting such incredible growth right now in Australia with lots of different programs that people are running, and we're not having any conflict or confusion at this point. So at this point, we won't be adopting the Healthy Living Revolution program. So if you do go onto the American site and you do see it and you're questioning why, that is the simple answer. We won't be adopting it as a company. Okay, as far as the studies go, we now have 35 confirmed published studies. Many of you already know that. There are There are 5 studies currently underway. There are 2 studies that have already been completed in the UK and are pending publication. It's just the researchers themselves are being a bit tardy. I know what that's like. I'm somewhat of a procrastinator myself. The most exciting one is the University of Newcastle study out of New South Wales. It has been submitted for publication, so we will see that in print in 2017. And the results around the effects on inflammation are nothing short of amazing. So we really look forward to that one coming out. There is also a study being done at the University of Memphis, Tennessee, on the microbiome that will probably look at publication in 2018, is currently underway. And there's also a study being done in Italy. It's a systematic review. What a systematic review is, it's a study of studies. So they're going to pull all of the studies together on specific topics and look at the overall results together to see if there's significant results. So that is due for publication in 2017. Now, here's the most amazing thing. Every journal in the world, every scientific journal, medical journal, has something called an impact factor. So like the biggest journal in the world is Nature. You guys might have heard of Nature. You know, it's amazing to be able to be published in Nature. Well, that has an impact factor which is 40 plus. Whereas some studies, some journals, you know, the Journal of Kazakhstan, for example, might have an impact factor of 0.1. So the amount of impact factor is how important that journal is. So obviously studies we want to be published in really high impact journals. When all of the journals that have impact factors that Juice Plus has been published in have been added up, the impact factor is greater than 100. Now, you normally don't add up impact factors of different journals, but the exercise has been done just to compare to what else is out there. So the comparison to other supplements, other multi-level marketing companies that we know that market supplements, less than 5 products have an impact factor that sits between 5 and 10 total. And all the others have an impact factor of 0, meaning they have no publications. So if anyone is ever talking to you about research and, oh yeah, my company's got research, I can tell you right now, less than 5 have an impact factor between 5 and 10. So as someone who's somewhat scientific, it's really encouraging to know that they are continuing to see the value in science. Now, we all know that stories sell, but the facts will always tell. And it's actually the research that continues to have people coming back to the quality of our product. Folic acid has been brought up as an issue. It will be removed from the soft chews in 2017. So the soft chews without folic acid will happen in the first quarter of next year. The argument around this is we have a really solid story. We have a really solid foundation for including folic acid in our products. Many of you have heard me speak about it before. But at the end of the day, it comes down to marketing. And there's too vocal a group of people out there wanting folic acid to be removed. And they've had to bend to this, so that it will be removed from the chews. The capsules is another story. They're working on some natural folate alternatives, but as many of you know, natural folate is incredibly unstable outside of food. So that may be a longish work in progress. Now, but to those of you who are anti-folic acid, you have won. Meredith Martin talked about marketing. Now, the big thing that will happen in 2017 is we will revert to application renewals as per your anniversary date. So for those of us who've been fighting for 18 years to have the application date as the date of renewal, that will start to take place as of next year. Yay, no more 1st of October deadlines. So that's really great. The other huge thing that will be happening as of next year is there will now be a customer access portal. What this means is that customers will have full control of their own accounts. They will be able to go into their own accounts, change credit card details, change address delivery details, change the date at which their product is delivered to them. And as it's an automated process, we as their sponsor will be advised if any changes are made. So that online immediate communication will start. So that's really exciting. It certainly assists all of us in customer care. It creates that ongoing immediacy of relationship with the customer. And it's really exciting that the company has embraced this form of service to our customers. The global test for this will be launched in December of this year with the intention to roll it out in the first quarter of next year for all of us. So it's really cool. Children's health study. There will be and this is 2017 as well, there will be the possibility that you will now be able, so your customers will now be able to place a CHS order on your own personalised website. In the past, it's always been with an application form. Now they'll be able to do that on your own personalised website, and they're making the surveys mobile friendly. So once again, commitment to that is fantastic. We know that this CHS is growing faster and has better attention than any others of our core businesses. So to be able to have that sort of immediacy with the Children's Health Study is fantastic. And the other big news is that as of 2017, cross-border shipments will now be possible. So for example, I know that, you know, people have customers in Bali or Guam or countries where we can't normally market into. We will now be able to send product through the US office. So this will be utilising FedEx services. So essentially what will happen is FedEx buys the product and then ships it to your customer. So it will be only upfront payment. There will be no instalments and only one-off orders. So there's no reorder system. The product will be marketed or sold through the US marketing plan. So the US prices plus freight, depending on wherever the country is. And as I said, it will be only FedEx that is the courier that will take the product. But that's fantastic for those of us who have potential customers in obscure countries where we knew customs was always an issue. Certainly Bali has been one of those for us. We'll now be able to ship to basically anywhere in the world where FedEx goes. So that's really exciting as well. As usual, Jay was his enigmatic and entertaining self. And I just want to share a couple of quotes that he gave, which he was very much about balance. He was very much about yin and yang in his presentations over the conference. He believes that why we are market leaders is, yes, we're a networking company, but we sell outside of our networks, not within our networks. And that is something that we need to continue to teach all of our people, that we want to, as much as we are about building business, we want to keep the product front and centre and not just be selling within our franchise base, but be selling out to our customers. We need to continue. And this is a philosophy of the Direct Sales Association that is really clamping down on a lot of network marketing companies now that, yes, of course, sell the business, but we must always be leading with the product. And that's the most important thing. And, you know, Jay really prides himself on the fact that yes, we're a network marketing company, but we are product focused and we sell outside of our network. We have a balance of both standardization of our products and innovation of our products and our research. Yes, we are very much about Facebook, but we are also about face look. It's important to continue to not put your customers and your franchisees at a distance, but continue to foster those belly-to-belly relationships. And, you know, really, even though we might be over the other side of the globe, we have such technologies now, just like Zoom, where we can be virtually belly-to-belly with people. You need to be balanced in offering people both the product and also the opportunity. And I think both Carla and Abby have talked about that with regards to health and wealth. Research versus results. So you need to always be creating the need for a foundation. And yes, we have a short-term view, but we have a long-term vision. So I just thought those were really fantastic. I want to give a plug for Anaheim. Got my little brochure here. they should sell it. They should pay me for marketing. But I really want you guys to put April 20th to April 22nd in your diaries. And for those of you who are dreamers, for those of you who are visionaries, I remember the first conference that we went to with Nat. Bron and I walked around Disneyland with Nat, and we we collected visionary quotes. I've still got a number of those. And look at the amazing things that, you know, Natalie has done with her business and all of us based on that first kind of visionary look. So guys, if it's even at the edges of your possibility, then I really want you guys to make the commitment to think about coming to Anaheim. And if you are, I'm going to recommend now that you go online and book a room, because they are going to be all booked up. All of your NMDs have been provided with the contact details for going and booking a room. You can cancel it. If you change your mind, you can cancel it without having to pay a cancellation fee. But I would strongly recommend that you put in your diaries and think seriously about coming along, because as Abby and Carla have both reflected on, there's nothing like the vision that a conference that can create to really help propel your business forward. So put it on your vision board and come along. I'm going to Disneyland if anyone wants to join me. Finally, I want to talk, and I want to open it up to Carla and Abby as well. I want to talk about the newest thing, the 24th country that is going to be marketing Juice Plus, and that is Dubai. So girlies, I'm just going to unmute both of you because I know you guys are currently working on it, as am I. But the big thing is that the launch for Dubai will be on the 14th of January. And if anyone is even vaguely interested in building in this market, then now is the time to get it, to be getting on the phone to people to encourage them to start thinking about the product. What is even more exciting is that we actually have a soft launch as of the 22nd of November. So from the 22nd of November, the company will start taking pre-registration for anyone who is interested in either the business or the products. So that means they can get on the website and they can pre-register their interest with the intention of start date being the 14th of January with a big ritzy launch that will be happening in Dubai. So they will be following the European marketing plan. So you can get online, you can get on your virtual office, you can flick over to, I think it's Ireland, which is the one that has the European plan. Which country?
I think the actual, is it UK plan or European? It's just the European plan.
I'm not sure if European is different, but they've said European. Yeah, Ireland. Thanks, Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, probably Ireland. I think it's all pretty similar, to be really honest. Even the UK is pretty similar.
Yeah, they're all fairly global now. So guys, if you are interested, now's time to start doing your homework. So flip over to the Ireland side or whichever European country and get hold of, I suppose at least Ireland's in English, and download their marketing plan so you're well aware of it, because that's what we'll be working off. The biggest thing in Dubai, if you are interested in building, is that the Direct Sales Association is really quite immature. It's really in its infancy. In fact, the neighbouring country of Bahrain actually has outlawed direct selling. So we have to be very compliant with what the company are asking us to do in Dubai. Obviously, it's a great market because there is that incredible imbalance right now between the pursuit of wealth in this country versus the pursuit of health, which kind of really isn't there. There will be a soft launch on the 22nd of November for 300 people. They are gifted tickets. And it's really only for anyone who's actually super, super serious about the business. So if you've got someone who's interested in the product or kind of interested in the business, might want to have a look at it, then the event on the 14th of January is the appropriate one to get them along to. The program that they'll be leading with is one simple change. The company will be headed up. So I had the opportunity to meet Paul Jarvis, who's the Chief Operating COO of Europe, Sven Goebel, who's the head of marketing in Europe, and obviously Gavin Versey, who's head of international marketing. Now, the actual master distributors will be a gentleman by the name of Eric, I don't know his surname, from the German market, and Mohammed, I can't say his surname, from he's a local Dubai man. And those guys together will be the master distributors. So similar to what Peter and Louise have here in Australia. They have asked us to only be utilising the European sales tools. We don't introduce them to any of the Australian or any other country's sales tools. The only products that will be initially going in will be capsules and complete, so there will not be CHS available. They will have their own website. It will be the UAE website, and it will be similar to the UK website. So they're really trying to keep it as uniform as possible. They're asking us not to go in with any of our own team names, programs, team philosophies or anything. They're asking us to go in as simple as possible and just lead with the product and one simple change. The last thing we want is for it to be an all-in brawl and then they turn around and say, stop, that's it. Anyone who is currently signed up in another country but will be based in Dubai can transfer their franchise to Dubai for a small fee. Currently, I know there is product being shipped through the Malaysian market that will come to a halt as of the 22nd of November, and any of those customers will be transferred over to the Dubai system. Now, the interesting thing, there's a couple of interesting things. Women obviously can sign up as franchisees, but they must have the permission of their husbands. I know, it's a very old system, but that is how it will have to be. Doesn't matter whether they're Western or not. Every single person who signs up as a franchisee must have a country ID card, a local address in Dubai, and a local bank account in Dubai. That is the only way that they can sign up to be franchisees. Girls, do you have anything else to add to that at all?
I'd probably just, the only thing that I would add is there's something that when we were in the UK, Dan Holzman, who's heading up that whole division as well, spoke about, and I think it's just important to talk about as well, is that he always says, you know, this is something that he recommends, that if you are not like a Q to NMD, that just be wary that this is another country. What he recommends is build your business locally first. It's all about building a strong business and not let this take your focus. But obviously, if you have people that you know already that could be part of their business in Dubai or UAE, then definitely it could be something to look at. But don't get too distracted, because at the end of the day, you want to build locally first, build your community first here around you until you're into those probably the higher levels of Q and NMD to then really start looking at other countries. Now, what I suggest, if you do have people, is actually go to that upline of your NMD and work with that NMD rather than try and do it on your own. We are doing that as a team. Is anyone in our team, in our NMD teams? We're collaborating together. So we're really conscious of not taking the focus of their own businesses and really helping them out. So that's the one thing I would just probably strongly say is really build your community first, and then work with your NMD for anything over in UAE as well. But it's really exciting. It's really exciting.
And I think the other big thing about Dubai, you know, it is always exciting when a new country opens. But having been involved in a startup with this country, it is really hard work. And sometimes it's even worth just sitting back and waiting and watching till all the crinkles have been smoothed out till you actually jump in. Just having done a little bit of sort of background reading about the population, got on Wikipedia and did a bit of homework. There's actually only about 500,000 Western expats. They talk about this huge expat community in Dubai, but the large percentage of them are from an Indian background, of which we don't have business in that country. So, you know, it's not a huge community necessarily, but what it is a great gateway. And that's why they're building Dubai, because it is a gateway to Southeast Asia, and it is a gateway, as I said, to the Indian market, which is certainly on their list as a country of the future, but not in the immediate future, so don't get too excited about that. But it's also a gateway to Africa, and they are looking particularly at Nigeria at the moment as a country where they may be introducing the product to. So certainly Abby, I think that's wonderful advice. I absolutely agree that if you do have a business interest there and you really are interested, then do work with your upline NMD to make sure that we're doing everything together as a team, we're moving forward as a community. There are a number of us that are intending to go over, some on the 22nd of November, lots more on the 14th of January. I certainly think if anyone else is interested, please talk to us, because I think it would be valuable to do this in a really coordinated way, so that we're getting sort of lots of frequency and everybody can tap into everyone else's meetings that they're having. So girls, if there's anything else that you'd like to talk about, is there any questions that anybody has? I totally enjoyed conference. I must admit that I didn't spend a lot of time sitting down on my butt watching the presentations, but what I did do was a lot of networking. I did have the opportunity to sit in on Bob and Sue Burdick's wrap-up after conference was over. I found that to be the most valuable 2 hours of my time. I'm just bummed that I didn't win any of their money. But one of the big things that Sven Goebel was an invited speaker. One of the big things that Sven said, and I think this reflects what both Abby and Carla have said, and that is that the movers and shakers in this business globally right now are doing it on social media. So, you know, even if you're not a social media guru, even if you're not particularly embracing a social media, you need to be in order to stay connected with moving forward with your business. He mentioned that you need to be working on your profile all of the time and always be thinking before you actually post, does this add value and does this help to brand and move me forward? Creation of a movement around a philosophy as opposed to building a team around a person is what is really helping to build a lot of the big European teams. And I think probably that's what the Italian twins will touch on next Monday. And stick to the system, guys. Keep it really simple. Just do your DMO, do your customers, get your VS, teach and duplicate. There really is no more difficult process than that. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Is there anything else that you guys want to mention?
No, I think we covered it all pretty well.
Awesome. All right, Groovers, we're going to sign off for now. Thanks so much for joining.